He wrote some of the greatest novels the world has ever seen, but at the end of his life, he fled his own home and died at a cold railway station. Born into a wealthy, noble family, he chose to live like a simple peasant. His name is Leo Tolstoy, a symbol of genius, rebellion, and the search for truth. Let's take a look at 10 essential facts about his life. Fact 1. The child born into gold. It was a crisp autumn morning in 1828 when the doors of Yasnaya Polyana opened. This estate was more than just a house. It was a fortress of noble heritage that had lasted for generations. Marble staircases, portraits framed in gold, the scent of ancient books filled the air. And on that very day, these walls witnessed a new story beginning. A baby named Lev was born. He was the son of a prince and a gentle-hearted aristocratic mother. This child, whose name would one day be known around the world, took his first steps on silk carpets. Yet fate had a strange plan. Despite growing up surrounded by wealth and grandeur, young Lev would soon realize that the greatest treasure was not gold, but love. And love was the one thing most lacking in his childhood. Fact 2. He left his studies unfinished. Young Lev Tolstoy was always a restless spirit, eager to discover himself. In 1844, he enrolled at Kazan University. At first, he studied Oriental languages, Arabic, Turkish, and Persian, but the lessons felt dry and boring to him. Lev preferred spending time in the library or talking with peasants on the estate, observing life rather than sitting through dull lectures. Soon he switched faculties and moved to the law department. However, that too failed to satisfy him spiritually. Sitting in classrooms and thinking in fixed patterns felt foreign. Lev wanted to learn about people and life itself, not just the theories written in textbooks. As a result, after only 3 years of study, he dropped out of university in 1847. For society, this was seen as a failure, but for Lev, it was freedom. He knew his true teachers would be the streets, the villages, and the lives of ordinary people. And indeed, the masterpieces he would later write were born from this school without textbooks. Fact 3. The Soldier of the Mountains, Tolstoy's military years. In the summer of 1851, Lev Tolstoy made an unexpected decision. He left behind the quiet life of his Russian estate and headed to the Caucasus to serve in the military. In the shadow of ancient mountains and beside rushing rivers, the young Lev, who dreamed of becoming a writer, now wore a soldier's uniform. There he witnessed breathtaking natural beauty on one hand and the harsh, cold face of war on the other. Clashes with local tribes, the crack of gunfire, and the chaotic life of the military camp changed his spirit profoundly. He spent days in the trenches and nights writing down what he saw and felt in his diary. By 1854, when the Crimean War broke out, Lev was an experienced artillery officer. The bloody defense of Sevastopol deeply shook him. The smell of gunpowder, the groans of wounded soldiers, the ever-present shadow of death. All of these experiences flowed into his pen and later became the famous Sevastopol sketches. For Tolstoy, war was more than just a battlefield. It was a mirror revealing human fear, courage, and true character. And he captured what he saw in that mirror in a way the world would never forget. Fact 4. Rising to literary fame with childhood. A turning point in Lev Tolstoy's literary journey came with his early work, Childhood. This novel marked his first major success and was met with great interest not only in Russia, but also across Europe. Childhood portrays the world through the eyes of a simple child, capturing the first impressions of life filled with joy and sorrow. Tolstoy delicately and sincerely revealed the adult world from a child's perspective. His language and style deeply moved readers because he masterfully reflected life's simplest and most sensitive moments. This success drew the attention of both the literary community and readers, giving Tolstoy the confidence to create even greater works. It was from here that the foundations were laid for his later masterpieces, War and Peace and Anna Karenina, which would leave an indelible mark on world literature. Fact 5. Tolstoy's rich literary legacy and wide translation. Lev Tolstoy's literary legacy is incredibly rich. He authored hundreds of works, including novels, novellas, short stories, philosophical treatises, and essays. Among his most famous works are War and Peace, Anna Karenina, Resurrection, and the Sevastopol Sketches. His works have had a profound impact on world literature and have been translated into over 90 languages. This has made Tolstoy not only the most widely read and translated Russian writer, but also one of the most influential authors in human history. Thanks to these translations, Tolstoy's ideas about humanity and spirituality have reached millions of readers across the globe, and his works continue to be beloved and studied centuries after they were written. Fact 6. He experienced a deep spiritual crisis. Lev Tolstoy's life was far more than the comforts of a wealthy aristocrat. By the late 1880s, he faced a profound inner crisis. He began spending restless nights searching for the meaning of life, existence, death, and humanity's place in the universe. Despite being the author of some of the greatest novels in the world, he felt his own soul was imprisoned. Wealth and fame no longer satisfied him. To find answers to the questions that echoed through most of his books, Tolstoy embarked on a deep philosophical and spiritual quest. Rejecting the rigid rules and contradictions of the Orthodox Church, he chose to return to a simple peasant life. He opposed violence, lies, and private property, embraced pacifism, and began to see himself as an ordinary man. His writings from this period were very different from his earlier works, now focusing on inner freedom, conscience, and morality. This spiritual journey brought him new ideas but also powerful enemies. The Orthodox Church excommunicated him, and many friends distanced themselves. But for Tolstoy, the most important thing was to find his own voice, and he did. Fact 7. He founded the Tolstoyan movement. One of the most fascinating turning points in Lev Tolstoy's life was his decision to share his philosophical ideas with society. In the 1880s, after choosing a simple peasant life, he became known not only as a writer, but also as an ideologue and social reformer. The movement known as Tolstoyanism embraced principles such as nonviolence, rejection of private property, and living a humble, simple life. Tolstoy preached the path of love and truth, emphasizing peace and compassion in human relations. These ideas resonated deeply in Russian society and around the world. Leaders like Mahatma Gandhi were notably influenced by Tolstoy's thoughts on peace and pacifism. However, these beliefs also sparked strong opposition. The Russian Orthodox Church excommunicated him, and the state tried to censor his works. Tolstoyanism was not just a philosophical movement, it was a way of life. Its followers ranged from peasants to intellectuals across Europe. This movement stands as one of the earliest champions of peace and human rights in world history. Fact 8. He was excommunicated from the church Lev Tolstoy's life, and ideas shook not only the literary world, but also the religious establishment. His deep spiritual quest and views challenging the teachings of the Orthodox Church sparked a major controversy. By the late 1880s, Tolstoy began widely sharing his religious beliefs and reflections on the meaning of life. He harshly criticized the official doctrines and rituals of the Church, advocating for simple faith and the supremacy of personal conscience. These views were unacceptable to the leadership of the Russian Orthodox Church. As a result, in 1901, Tolstoy was officially excommunicated. He was anathematized. This was a great trial for him, but for Tolstoy, this marked a new beginning on the path of freedom and truth. Freed from the strict rules of the Church, he strengthened his beliefs and philosophy even more. This bold step made him even more popular among the common people, who saw him as a voice of genuine faith and moral courage. Fact 9. Lev Tolstoy's love life. Lev Tolstoy's life was not only filled with great literary achievements and philosophical quests, his love life was complex and profound as well. In 1862, he married Sofia Andreevna Bears. Sofia became not only his wife but also his greatest supporter. However, their marriage was far from a simple romantic story. There were strong and sometimes tense dynamics between Lev and Sofia. Tolstoy's inner turmoil, spiritual searching, and desire for simplicity often clashed with Sofia's aristocratic upbringing and delicate world. Together, they raised 13 children, but their relationship was frequently marked by conflicts. Tolstoy's harsh self-criticism and sometimes severe treatment of Sofia made their home life challenging. Yet Sofia remained his greatest source of inspiration and protector of his creative work. Tolstoy's love life reflects the eternal struggle between human weaknesses and strengths, pride and compassion, a mirror of the complexity of the human heart. Fact 10. He died in a dramatic way in November 1910. Lev Tolstoy's life entered its final and dramatic chapter. At the age of 82, the great writer and philosopher left his comfortable estate. The reason? A search for inner peace and a desire for a new beginning in life. On a cold autumn night, he set out on a journey toward freedom and simplicity, heading for a railway station. There, at a small station called Ostapovo, he was found weary and ill. His eyes reflected a farewell to the world, but his spirit was free in his final moments. This dramatic scene marked not only the end of a great writer's life, but also a turning point in the life of a man. Tolstoy's death strengthened the immortality of his ideas and works even further. His last wish was simple: death, like life, is a part of nature, and humans must accept it. Dear viewers, we've shared with you 10 key facts about the life of Lev Tolstoy. If you want to watch more interesting historical stories like this, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and like the video. See you in the next video.